Hello.
Hey, welcome to a brand new episode of Luke and Lewis. We're joined by our good friend North Borders, who's a photographer who's toured with me and Luke in the past. Really good friend of ours. It's a banging episode. We wanted to let you know that this is the second time we've recorded it. First time we recorded for about 15 minutes, had technical issues. We decided to release that 15 minutes because it was really good on Patreon. So there's an extended version of this episode on Patreon. But otherwise, enjoy this. Really great, fun conversation with Mike, who we love. Hey, welcome to a special guest episode of the Luke and Lewis Show. We're joined by our very good friend. We've known him for years. Welcome, Mike from North Borders, to the show.
Hey, good
welcome,
to be
mate.
No, we need to get to the bottom of this. I think we've actually discussed this on a podcast in the past. Yeah. It's not Mike from North Borders. It's like Mike, a.k.a.
I am North Borders. I'm not from it.
Well,
he's not like an entity, like where he's...
I'm actually a small suburb, actually.
Yeah.
I know. It's just something that I think... I can't even remember, because if you're new to the show, Mike from North Borders, he toured with... He toured with me and Luke, and he was the photographer, and he filmed stuff and did all the tour vlogs. And we did a few podcasts together, and I think one of us accidentally said Mike from North Borders, and he didn't like that, so that became his name.
I'm not from it.
It just sounds like that you've come over like from north of the border.
Yeah.
Somewhere. It sounds like you're a character in Game of Thrones. It's Sir Mike from north of the border.
Where did the name North Borders come from?
So back in the day, back in my day, on Instagram, I mean, it would have been like around 2014, 2015 on Instagram. It's so different to how we know social media now. Now on social media, it's all about your name. You want to put your face on there, reels, TikToks, like all this shit, right? But back then for photographers, it was cool almost to be like a graffiti artist, like how you'd have like your tag and no one knew who you were, right? And you'd just be this photographer or have this account with this cool name and you just posted like sick photos, even though my photos were terrible back then, right? And I didn't have like a cool name. I was like, I want a cool name. Like, I followed people like 13th Witness from New York.
Cool name.
And like fucking sick name. Night Shift, like all these cool names, right? Very cool.
But you know, right? These just sound like Autobot names.
Yeah.
Like these are just names of Transformers. Like that's the same as Optimus Prime.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. You could actually make up anything, right? But the thing is, anything can be your name. Your name could be like Spicy Lasagna, but you could fucking...
I like that.
Make that cool.
Yeah, you could make it cool because you could be like, yo, did you see Spicy Lasagna's new post or whatever? Like,
but that's like bands once they get famous.
Yeah, exactly.
As well.
Exactly.
Like the Red Hot Chili Peppers is an objectively kind of shitty, lame band name. But it's the Chili Peppers, so that they're so famous, it doesn't matter.
It's such a shit name that everyone who listens to them were like, I'm not going to say the full thing. I'm saying Chili Peppers only.
Yeah. They're Red Hot.
Yeah.
Red Hot. Yeah. Imagine them introducing them on a podcast.
Yeah. All right.
You have to introduce their name and then all of their names.
All of their actual names, yeah.
But that wouldn't be weird. That wouldn't be weird if Lewis was like, welcome Anthony from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, because that would be accurate.
True.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying, man. I like Mike from North Borders because if I had someone from a band on and we were like, oh, hey, it's Anthony from Red Hot Chili Peppers, you go, no, I am the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I am the whole pepper.
Yeah.
I am the whole thing.
You're making it seem like there's like he's part of like a 4-piece photography group, like a boy band. Do you reckon that could be a thing? Like if Save You, Seventh Era and stuff, you all got together and you made like this photography boy band. What would you call it?
Fucking all the borders. It's called
It's 60 borders.
You just call it.
Already in one direction, actually.
So basically then, I guess what we've got down to is you're not Mike from North Borders. North Borders is from you. You came up with it.
Yes.
North Borders is from Mike.
That's more or less the case. I mean, I am just the whole...
You are the guy. Yeah. And this is why we keep calling him Mike from North Borders, because look how much it annoys him. He goes, no, I need to explain very meticulously why that's not my name.
And I mean, that's all your content, isn't it? It's just annoying people. So that's great for your podcast.
Pretty much.
I mean, how has that been going? I've seen you have been annoying fair few news companies. You went to America like a little while back, annoyed some people over there. That was great content.
Yeah, that was good. That was a little TV pilot, and well, this year I wanted to do Spears versus Australia, but obviously that can't happen. So I hope that maybe next year, if travel's like opened up and I can get some money together, we could shoot
just get out there to a protest, right? You can do fucking Spears versus the federal government.
I know.
I saw that one where you went to that protest and there was like that guy dressed as someone from the Matrix. And you kept making these jokes and he just didn't understand.
You know, that guy, that's from the anti-vaccine rally video I did. Right. That guy's still around and he's like a fan now. He loved it. He comments on my social media every now and then. He now calls himself Neo in my comment section. He's a legend. I mean, the guy's fucking insane, but he can take a joke.
I was going to say, are you sure he gets it? Do you still think there's like part of him that's like, I'm a goddamn star? He was agreeing with me.
No, literally, Luke filmed that video, and that guy, we were almost done. At that point of the video, I'd done all the bits. I'm like, oh, this is fine. This would be a great video. He came up to us.
Oh, I'm pretty sure there was one of them I forced you to go up to. I was like, dude. Oh, yeah, he did. He came up to us because he was like, what are you guys doing? Like, you know, those people who are way too eager. They see a camera and they're like, I was born to be in
basically all of America, actually.
Yes.
Literally.
Yeah, and since he's been on like every 6-8 months, especially because there's so many protests about COVID now, he's at all of them and he runs up to the cameras and talks to them and he always ends up on the news and people tag me and go, is this that Neo guy? He's still around. He's still doing it. So look, he hasn't switched up. He's an OG. He hasn't changed. Good on him.
I mean, I don't agree with like maybe what he preaches, but I mean, good on him for staying true to his character.
You have to respect a guy who's nuts and it's like, I'm not changing.
That. Yeah, I mean, you can still disagree with someone, but still respect them.
Yeah, that's what he said to me in my comment section. He's like,
oh, really?
I disagree with you. I think that this is actually the government trying to kill us all, but agree to disagree, my friend.
I mean, whatever. I'm a trooper.
There's actually something kind of beautiful in that. Like two people, because like so many other people in Facebook comment sections, if they disagree, they will not. No one agrees to disagree on Facebook. That's unheard of. The fact that you two are just like completely different, and you couldn't be probably more opposing, and you're actively preaching the opposite. He's actively going to rallies, and then he's like, "Nah, but you're a bit of a funny bloke. It's good shit."
You know what,
that's
Luke?
Incredible.
You've sold me. Let's get him on the show.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. Guys, can I be in the background like healing as well? Just listening.
Just adding not much, but he is there. Just a presence.
We just cut to him. I mean, he could just cut you off right now.
Like we'd say something and he'd be like, oh, like I said that thing about the rallies. He'd be like, all right, I can organize a time and a place. Like he would just be keen on that. And like Keelan laughed. He would be like, all right, let's get our diaries out and fucking organize this shit. So, mate, I believe I've heard it through the rumor mill, you know, through the grapevine, if you will, that North Borders from Mike is about to go overseas.
That's right. I have exemptions approved, paperwork all sorted. I'll be getting vaccinated there, but I am moving to Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. Of course. That makes a lot of sense for you. That's cool. Why'd you pick there?
Hang on, why do you think?
When you get off the plane.
Huh?
The only place in Europe you don't have to quarantine when you get off the plane.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, at least when I was checking. Maybe there's a few other places that have opened up now, but Netherlands just don't seem to give a shit if Australians want to come into their country.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, because quarantine's like moving across the country across the world is like super expensive, but then adding in like the quarantine is so expensive.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just not something you'd want to do.
Oh, it'll make you sad if you do that.
Exactly. Especially if you know you're negative COVID like as well. And like, you know,
do you have to test negative and then they're fine?
Yeah. I mean, you get your negative COVID test, but we're actually considered a safe country. We are Singapore, New Zealand, but pretty much anywhere less than like 10,000 fucking COVID cases a day.
Yes.
It's considered a safe country.
Yeah.
But
it is funny how, like, for us, Sydney getting 800 a day is like, oh my God, it's hell. It's so dangerous. Yeah. But then in the scheme of things, where like the UK is hitting 20 or 30,000 a day and the US is hitting like 100, they're like, man, Australia is so safe right now.
I mean, they're very peaceful. But really, we have the toughest restrictions, which it's a tough one, man. And honestly, like all this, I don't really talk about much political stuff on my channel because just like to keep it photography, but COVID has turned just so political now. It just has divided so many people. And then that's why I'm steering away from it even more, because it's the real virus, in my opinion. I'm not
Here we go. I mean,
the real virus. That there isn't a virus out there that isn't good. Obviously, you don't want to get it.
Yeah.
But the real virus is the news and the media, and we don't help.
Yeah.
Honestly,
it's true. It makes people hate each other, and it also
not Neo. Neo is happy to just stand on the sidelines and go, I respect you either way. Yeah. We need more people like Neo out there, honestly.
He's out there going, you know what, you have to like...
Actually, you know what? I take that back. We don't need more people like that.
Don't need more low immune system people out there. I mean,
you have to rate like how peaceful Neo is, because if I like fully 100% believed all that insane shit, like, all of the people in power are like harvesting children for their blood, I'd be a pretty angry guy. I wouldn't be like, yeah, man, look, I just think that you shouldn't be harvesting children for blood. But if that's what you want to do, agree to disagree. That's what the world's about. He's a saint.
It's actually fucking hectic that he's so calm.
Yeah.
That's what he truly believes. He should be like ripping our fucking heads off.
I'd be angry.
Yeah. I mean, you would be. Maybe he's gone through that phase. Maybe he has been angry at some point.
Yeah.
He's now reformed. He's gone through the rehab. Like, he still believes all this shit.
Yeah.
He's gone through the rehab and he realizes that getting angry doesn't actually solve anything. So maybe
he's like the Gandhi of QAnon followers.
Crazy fucks. Legit. Yeah.
So you know what I love about Amsterdam is even during a pandemic, it seems like they've consistently stayed the country in the world that just doesn't give a fuck. They were always the country that didn't give a fuck before the pandemic. Like everyone on their Kentucky goes, bro, go to Amsterdam. You're going to see some shit. And even now it's still, dude, go to Amsterdam. They don't give a fuck. You can probably really still do all the crazy shit that you could do there before the pandemic, during it.
Yeah, I mean, they did go into lockdown at some point last year, but they've been out of lockdown. There's pretty much, like, I'm reading on their website, it's like we have no restrictions apart from wear a mask. That's it.
Maybe it's because America legalized weed, because before that, Amsterdam was like, man, this crazy, insane country, you can buy weed at a shop in a cookie and it's fine, encouraged even. That's crazy. And then America legalized it. Amsterdam lost their thing. What's Amsterdam now? The country without quarantine periods.
America just turned into a one big red light district. And they completely fucked Amsterdam's whole tourism scheme. So if they don't let people in without quarantine, they're fucked. Because that's the only reason why people are going there.
Amsterdam, actually not Amsterdam, but the Netherlands is.
Is it like as big as like Melbourne CBD or something?
The whole country is half the size of Tasmania.
What?
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's only like 2 hours to drive across the whole thing. Or an hour and a half.
Something like that. Something stupid like, a couple hours and you'll be across it. And they have almost 18 million people that live in that country.
Wow.
Half the size. That's almost, if you take out like some of the people in Australia who aren't considered Australians, we probably have like 20 million people here, right?
Yeah. Right. I love that you're just like, you're like, guys, you have room for one more?
Yeah, room for one Aussie. I can't wait to be an Aussie over there. I'm going to put on the accent so much harder.
Yeah, man, people love it. People absolutely love it. It's like when I went to New York, I just forgot that I was Australian. I was so tired and I was so delirious. The first day I just walked into a place to get food because I was up at like 3 a.m. and I just ordered food normally. And this guy goes, 3 a.m., I'm delirious. He goes, you're Australian?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
We're so rare to think about it. Like we are.
Like a little rare Pokemon.
Yeah, we are.
You
There's
see us
not
in the wild
many of us.
overseas.
Yeah, legit. I mean, and we're so far away from everything, especially to America.
Yeah.
I mean, like traveling to fucking Hawaii for them is like, oh, got to sit on the plane for 5 hours. Oh, like, dude, minimum you're on the plane for 10 hours. You want to go anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, we're just rare over there. I remember me and Liam, we were at a house party in Chicago, and I think we made it like a bet who could spread the most bullshit about Australia that night.
Good.
We downloaded pictures of kangaroos before that. We got that one out of the way. We're 1 for 1.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah. If you just, because obviously that was the first question we kept getting asked is like, can you ride kangaroos? I'm like, yeah, of course. You just get the permit and you can, ride them.
You put in a little bit of like paperwork into a bullshit story. Like you can tell people anything as long as you add in like a little bit of red tape. It's like, oh, well, obviously you need a permit and a license. But
because that would be
fucking
crazy to ride it without a permit.
Yeah.
But with a permit, it makes it seem like, oh, of course. And then obviously like there's the saddle and
you need your kangaroo license.
And obviously, you can only ride ones that are like 6 foot and above as well. Because
you got to only ride the big ones. Otherwise, the small ones you end up breaking their spines.
But kids ride the small ones to school.
Yeah, they
of course.
The little training wheels.
Yeah,
on a big bracket. No, but you literally can. Like I'm getting out of Australia right now from a little bit of paperwork. Like you can actually do anything if you have a little bit of paperwork. It's ridiculous. It's actually stupid. Like. My dad always says the best quote, the pen is mightier than the sword. You could fight as much as you want, but if you had a little bit of paperwork, you just get clearance straight through.
Exactly. If you even make up a little bit of paperwork, you can convince Americans that you can ride kangaroos.
Exactly, right? So that's what we did. I also convinced everyone that Uluru was our FBI headquarters, and it actually goes into the ground as well.
So you can like retract Uluru like it's a button on an Xbox controller.
Yeah. If there is like serious world cause, you can go in there. And I've definitely won against Liam. I also told everyone that when Australia was colonized, we all lived in one house. All of us.
Just one place. That's funny. So when we first started working together, both of us were quite small. You've now blown up. Like I think when we started work, you might only have had like about 10,000 followers on Instagram, maybe a little bit more. Yeah. Now how many do you have now? It's like over 100, isn't it?
It'd be like 350K.
300.
Oh, fucking hell. Every time I check it, I go, Mike from North Borders is killing it.
I mean, the difference is, I guess, because I'm going to guess your audience is a bit more Australian based because of Nebs and a lot of things you've done in the past with the Australian news and stuff. You attract a more Australian culture, right, to your audience, right? But like I was saying before, we're only so big and there's only so many of us literally in our age group that find what we do interesting, right? So obviously it's not that you're capped because there's always going to be new people, but like in a way compared to the rest of the world, if you're doing very Australian content, you're more or less attract Australians, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's because I'm a photographer and I can shoot anything, I'm attracting an international audience. Therefore, it's a bit easier for me to grow in that sense because anyone can appreciate a photo.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's kind of what I've learned is like, I was only doing Australian stuff, which you have to do to blow up and find your crowd. And then I started kind of just doing maybe like 50-50 just to attract the rest of the world.
Yeah,
because because in Australia there is a cap. It's like once you hit that, it's like, all right, well, you might get a few thousand people every now and then.
All the bogans, them all. Like they're all there.
So what's changed like since you moved from like a small good photographer on Instagram to like this giant thing now? What's changed for you? Because you have like a YouTube channel now as well.
Yeah. So
you became like a personality. That's what changed, I think, is like you put your face in front of it.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing that changed it as well was being in the YouTube photography scene. There's not a lot of, I mean, there are now growing now, which is awesome. And you can see that they take inspiration from what me and the boys do as well, which is awesome to see people like getting on camera. Cause it's not an easy thing to do. Like I know you boys do it as well, to jump on camera.
Yeah.
You're not always in the headspace to do it as well.
Well, especially when like, I'm assuming here, but especially when you obviously start photography because you want to be behind the camera, right?
Yeah.
And often the type of person who wants to be behind the camera doesn't want to be in front of it, obviously.
Yeah.
A bit more introverted or a bit more technical, because like sometimes we've worked with freelancers and stuff that they want to be in front of the camera, and we kind of recognize that they're not the best behind the camera because they want to be in front of it. So it would be, the opposite. It can sometimes be true, I suppose, like with people who like want to be behind. It can be tough to fucking reverse and go, all right, well now I'm in front too.
Yeah, exactly. And what's hard about it as well is when you're on a photo shoot, especially when you're by yourself, it's hard to jump between filmmaking and photography because it's two very different things to be able to do. Is taking a photo and trying to get the composition right, but then also you got to flip the camera around and talk about what you're trying to do, and it can take away sometimes from what you're actually trying to do. So finding the balance there was a bit hard at the start, finding out how I wanted to make my videos and all that sort of stuff. I wasn't very much a filmmaker. I wasn't that savvy with Premiere as I am now, obviously, but just comes with time. And I've been thoroughly enjoyed doing what I'm doing to the point now where I'm fully self-sufficient off what I do. So I don't need to take on other jobs. Although like I will take on private work like that I can make into a YouTube video. So maybe like I've had some jobs last year with Lamborghini, but they've reached out to me and I've done some work for them, which then I can make into a YouTube video and be like,
so that's just a good photo to upload as well. Like that's also just improves your brand.
Yeah, exactly. And being a part of Lamborghini, and then that led into other jobs because Bentley and Lamborghini are rivaling with a lot of their cars that they're making at the moment. So when Bentley see that that Lamborghini's using me, then I got approached by Bentley and I got to do some work with them.
That's sick.
Cool. And then it was like Bentley and Lamborghini like fighting over me for a bit. So I was like doing work for like both of them.
That's some hot girl shit, dude.
Yeah, it was just
awesome.
So I got to do a lot of work with like some sick cars and be like paid to do it and be wanted to come on and do it and stuff. And I can make YouTube videos about it. So it's gotten to an awesome level like that where I've been able to like take on jobs that I want to take on. But as you know, it takes a while to get to the position where you can be like, all right, now this is what I want to take on board. And these are the projects that I want to do.
You know? So I went on that tour. Like it was the three of us, right? It was Lewis's Try and Stop Me tour. And that was the tour that I was opening for Lewis. And then Mike was the photographer and videographer. And dude, Mike works so fucking hard. Like he'd be on the way to the gigs, like editing, like new pictures. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I have to get a photo up tonight. I'm like, just do it tomorrow. And he's like, yeah, but I post every day. Like, and it was just so, and it was like that attitude is like why you're successful. Like, I think people always go like, oh, how do people even get, it's like, cause you just wake up and go, what can I do this morning? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same for all of us. It's like, you also believe that you could never not do it. It's just part of it. You know,
it's like because like what else would you be doing?
What else exactly? What else would you actually be doing? Honestly, like for some people, it's hard because they don't know exactly what direction they want to go in.
Yeah,
it's like some people just lack that direction. Whether it's like if you know,
some people lack motivation and self confidence to do.
That's true as well.
Thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different variables that take for each person. That's why it's hard to give advice and that sort of stuff because it actually comes down to the individual.
Yes.
And what you want to do. I mean, that's why I find like all these business guru people funny. Like, you can't tell someone how to run their business. The only thing you can say is you need to try, like for yourself, because people could be in the same industry, but you can't tell someone exactly how you're going to run the business to make it successful. You need to figure that out.
Yeah, that is true. I think especially of creative things because like I'm sure you could tell me a bunch of amazing things and tell me how to be a great photographer, but I don't really want to do it. It might be a little bit cool, but you're not going to get there unless you've because I think you need to find your interest, and a lot of people don't find their interest or they stop looking and trying different things. So then they go, oh, I guess I'm not meant to do anything. But if you keep trying new things and weird things, like you will find something. It could be fucking rock climbing or whatever.
Yeah.
And when you find that thing, you'll go, oh, this is the thing. I don't want to do anything other than that. And sometimes I feel really lucky that I knew when I saw comedy at 12, I was like, I want to do that. I want to be on stage. And sometimes I feel lucky that I was exposed to that by my mom. Like imagine if I didn't find it stand up until I was like 40 or 50 or whatever and go, oh, fuck, I want to do that.
And then, you're a fucking accountant and you got a family and kids and it's hard to
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to pivot, but sometimes it does happen. Like Bill Burr started really late. There's a bunch of other comedians that have become greats that didn't begin it until they were in their 30s or sometimes even 40s. So, you know, it sometimes honestly when people go, "Oh, I don't know what I should do with my life," it's like, well, I don't know. So go try shit.
Exactly, man. There's actually no rush as well because everyone is on their different path, which is important to understand that as well. Because I think the worst thing, because I get a lot of people telling me that, you know, like, or comparing themselves to my work and stuff and being like, oh, you know, I'm never going to be that good or whatever. But I mean, I was once a beginner at, like, you know, like I was saying before when I started North Borders.
You've shown me the first part of your feed, like, and you can scroll down and watch it. Like, you can see Mike get better over time.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just because like I genuinely want to try, and I'm not actually trying to get better. I'm actually just going out and taking photos. I'm actually just enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm not worrying about where I'm trying to be at. Because that's what I hate. Like back in school, it's like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, I don't even know what I'm doing tonight. Like far out. Like you know, like you just gotta take each day as it comes, especially when it comes to creative work. Just focus on each project and just devote that time into each project, and as you grow, you know, just mature as a human being, you'll slowly figure out what you like to do, and you'll have a bit more direction, and then it's just the amount of speed. How fast do I want to do this? How hard do I
honestly, it's speed is a huge thing. Like perfectionism is what fucking ruins you. Like I struggled with it heaps back when, you know, a few years ago. I would do I mean, the videos I was doing were great, but I would do them once every 2 months, and it just killed me. And the minute I switched from it has to be so much better than the last one, and the last one killed me to do, I just went, all right, I'm just going to try for a couple of months, good enough. And the minute I did that, the videos started going better, and they actually started getting better because I wasn't going, oh, fuck, is this good enough? Should I even film this one, or is the script good enough? I was like, man, I'm just going to go with the good enough motto. And I've done that for years now. It's the best thing I ever did. And doing that allows you to save that like perfectionist mindset for really big, important projects. So like my comedy special was when I was like, all right, this can't be good enough. This one has to be really good. But, you know, I only got to that level because I was able to just put out all the other shit with the good enough mindset. And then also I could focus on this thing that had to be amazing, but I didn't have to drop everything else because I could just keep it running because I figured out how to make it easy and efficient, I guess.
But it took time to get just to that mindset. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I'm trying to say is people that they look at that and they be like, oh, Lewis Spears, like he's so successful and he has done all these things and look at all these videos that he's made. And they compare like, there's like a saying, it's like, don't compare someone's chapter 10 to your chapter 1. You know what I mean? I love that because it's like, it's so true. Like you can't just look at someone who is successful and be like, well, I'm not going to be like that. But you're not, because, you know, they're their own sort of entity and you need to go off and find your own thing that you like. But it starts by taking that first step and not trying to be a perfectionist, because that's what kills you. But it's hard to say that to someone when they're starting out because they don't even know what's perfect yet.
Well, you know what I always thought was really cool about like watching Mike on tour was he was such a fucking nerd about it. Like we would go out to like bars and stuff and he'd bring his little camera bag in case he saw a cool light. Like at a bar. Like literally like if he saw like a cool neon. I remember like we were in an alleyway. Do you remember that? We were in an alleyway in like Ballarat and they had their like white night on or something like that. And Mike was like, stand there. I was like, what? And he goes, just be on your phone, like shine the phone light on your face. And there's this photo of me where I'm just like pretending to text and he's like sitting there and he's like, oh, that's fucking good. Like, and that is why I think you're successful, is because you could have just left the camera in the car and had a fun night. But you were just like, I find it fun to just take it with me. And
obviously, as I've matured now, I understand that there needs to be a difference between actually going out and enjoying some time with your mates and stuff and not trying to work, even if it's not work. I don't see it as work, but it is still work. Like, it's important to take a break from these things as well and just enjoy life. But I mean, at the start, because I couldn't have known, like, you couldn't have known that until you realize that you actually burn yourself out.
Oh, you have to burn yourself out. You got to do that and go insane and then go, oh shit, this is,
you learn.
What am I doing? Yeah.
You definitely learn because you need to find that balance between, you realize that your health and your friends and your family is like, that's what you really got. And this is still like, although it's your work, it's still your passion, but you need to find that balance, which is what I've come to learn. And I think COVID's really accelerated that as well, because I mean, that's why I have to make the move, because I'm finding it really hard now to try and, you know,
just keep leveling up and
exactly. Like just
are you going by yourself
at the moment? Maybe. I think Liam's going to come with me, but we're not sure. We're just still trying to figure out dates and stuff at the moment.
Yeah, I've been going a bit nuts as well, not being able to do what we do. Like I'm currently trying to move to Tasmania.
Really?
Yeah, I don't
have any restrictions there.
Well, yeah, and I also don't think that they will get them, or if they do, you can I feel like it's the only place in the country where they can't accidentally get COVID. Like they have to fuck up to let that happen, unless someone gets in a little tinny boat and goes, I'm getting to Tassie. That might be me.
I've got COVID and I'm fucking going to infect it. I mean, there's no way. They just get fucked on by the bass stray. Could you imagine?
Yeah, I know. Or get run over by the spirit of Tasmania with me on it, going, get on the boat like a real man.
Pay the fucking real ticket.
Imagine if you're just on the spirit of Tasmania and you look down, you see fucking Neo in a dinghy, just like fucking going for it.
Yeah, he's running out of fuel halfway.
Forgot a paddle.
He's got a fucking little Gatling fucking thing or whatever. And hooks
I don't have a driver's license because I don't believe in them. They wouldn't let me on the boat.
I don't have any license. I don't have any ID.
Boys. Look at your nuts right now. Look back at the screen.
Yeah.
And think about it.
Are
they smooth as hell? Could they be smoother?
I would think so.
I could rate they could always be
depending
smoother.
on your age.
Yeah, that's true. And if they aren't very smooth, boy, do we have the product for you, Manscaped. Mm-hmm. That's what you need, really. It's just great for comfort. They've released a new Lawnmower 4.0.
Looks like Darth Vader.
It does. It looks like it was made by the Empire in Star Wars. It's imperial. It's precision. It's what we love. And use our code. Oh, no, use our link.
Yeah.
Custom link.
That's right. Manscaped.com/soundoff for 20% off and free shipping. The Lawnmower 4.0. This thing's great. You know, Luke, I have it in the little Manscaped toolbox with all of my accessories and tools and creams and potions that they also sell. I accidentally bumped it and it turned on in the bag and we heard the motor going. Jasmine and I were searching the room. I thought I'd blown up my computer or my laptop or like the lights. That's how powerful this thing is. We were looking for this noise on all of our big electronics going, wow, no, what have we broken? Turns out it was just the Lawnmower 4.0. The motor is spinning and pubes will leave.
Yeah, also waterproof as well. And another great thing, dude, I had a girl come up to me with her boyfriend. She goes, I just want to thank you. I'm not joking, by the way. She's like, after the show, she's like, I just want to thank you. Yeah. Dude, Manscaped, he's way better now. That's all she said.
Wow.
She goes, he's way better now. And the guy was standing there like Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, what was wrong with my dick? Probably some stuff. Get some
like,
manscaping on you.
She was like, hey, I got it for him for his birthday. He really likes it. Anyway, it was a good show. Bye. And then she just left.
It is.
She just wanted to thank me about recommending a great product recommendation.
I guess that's a good sign when people say more about the brands who sponsor you than your actual performance. Mate, I guess that's good. I'll take it.
That's the testimonial. Like, if that's a true testimonial.
So how about this, Luke? New slogan: Manscaped.com. Better than Luke shows.
Yes. Yeah. If you're the girlfriend, probably.
Yeah.
The guy was like, my nuts are great, but you were better. Yeah. No, he didn't
I wouldn't go that far, mate. Jokes were good.
Yeah. Luke, sorry. Manscaped. Why did I plug my own website?
I mean, if you want to get tickets, LukeKidgel.com. There's no discount code there. But if you want the best shaving experience in the game, Manscaped.com.
I do not sell them.
20% off, free shipping. Support the brands that support the show. That's how we keep it all spinning. Thank you. And back to Mike.
Yeah, it's one of those things, dude. Melbourne's fucked it. Like, what a great time to get out. So you're going to get out soon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before the end of the year, or?
I mean, yeah. My current ticket is booked for this Friday.
Awesome.
So I might be leaving on Friday. However, I just need to check a few other things, but I'll be leaving before the end of October. Yeah, before the end of October. So within the next month or so, I'll be gone.
Well, it's scary leaving the country because they just made it like borderline impossible to come back. So like, what is your plan? So you get to Amsterdam and like, what are you doing? Like, especially if you're by yourself.
Yeah, like I'm going to get fully vaccinated there. And then once I've done that, like I've already got jobs with Bentley over there as well. One in Amsterdam, cool. And there could be some stuff potentially in America as well, because once you're there, you can travel wherever.
Yes.
There's no sort of, I think to America as well, there's no quarantine as well. There's just,
I think it is, or it will definitely just become, if you're vaccinated, you can do whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I probably won't be going to America straight away. I'll probably be touring Europe for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to get a car over there and spend like a long time there. I'd be minimum spending 12 months there. Like I'm prepared to spend minimum 12 months.
Man, after the 18 months we've had, like you got to, do it.
I don't reckon you'll be allowed back here in 12 months. Probably. Like
I'm okay with that though. Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah. You're not missing much over here.
Yeah, I mean, but there are ways to get back. I know there are. Like, we still need to get exemptions. It's a lot more hectic process, but there are ways. But it is a lot harder. Like it is.
But also, would you want to like?
Yeah, it'd be like if there was like a death in the family and I had to come back.
Yeah,
like God forbid something really bad happened and then I'd have to come back. Like if it was that severe, and I'd try to find a way back. But yeah, I mean, nothing else would really want me, to come back. To be honest, like I wouldn't.
I feel like with that, if it's really hard to come back, that means that we're still fucked, and you wouldn't want to come back unless it was an emergency.
Exactly right. So yeah, that's basically the plan. I'd just be able to be getting back to making content again, because I've actually we've been in this fucking shitty COVID situation longer than I've done YouTube for.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't think of that. True.
I started YouTube mid-2018. I got a really good taste of it in 2019. That's when it started growing. I got to quit my job and just do YouTube hard.
Brutal.
And then started 2020 until now. It's pretty much been, it's almost even with as long as I've done YouTube for is how long we've been in this shit. So I haven't had a chance to properly grow and do what I want.
Yeah.
YouTube. Like I've had cool jobs and there's been things, but to be able to travel overseas, go experience cultures, foods, meet people, go to sick locations and stuff, like that's what I want to be doing.
Yes.
I was talking to my dad about it and he was just like, man, I feel really bad for young people. Like you guys are the best part of your life, and just, the government's, I guess, letting everyone down a bit. And it's not, obviously it's a global problem. It's not just our government, like with the vaccine rollout or whatever, but it's more just like, it's just such a shitty situation. Like Lewis and I were supposed to be going to the UK last year. We had 2020 dates booked in the UK to do a tour. And then I was supposed to go again this year, Edinburgh. And then this year was supposed to be America. And we had all these plans of and we probably would have been able to do them, like with how we're growing and stuff online.
Yeah.
Probably would have gone quite well, but now we have to wait probably 2 more, I imagine, to actually do shows.
Well, because next year, say if everything goes well and next year opens up, Luke and I both have to tour Australia. So that's a year. And then maybe the year after UK, and then maybe the year after that, America. It really puts 2 years in the way of what you'd normally be doing. Like I was talking about this with Jazz. Think about all the kids who turned 16 last year. They can't get their driver's license at all. Because
it's really hard.
You can't do lessons, and then in Melbourne you can't really leave to properly drive safely and learn, because you can't go for more than 5 kilometers out. Like I was supposed to get my fucking license this year. I was doing lessons and shit, and then they made it illegal. I'm like, oh, great. Now I'll have to learn while I'm touring, and that's not going to happen.
I was talking about this with Meg last night. Her niece and nephew are 3 and 5 years old, and we realized they only know pandemic. They were 3. One of them was 3 when it started. One of them was 1. They've grown up in a pandemic, and if it continues on for another year, their first years of their childhood are just fucked. Isn't that insane?
That is insane. How
if it goes on for 3 years.
Imagine being retired and being like, I'm going to buy a boat. I'm going to buy the boat. And then, but that's the other thing. I think I saw a video because when I was getting my exemption sorted, there was a guy, like a dad with their family, that they wanted to just like pack up everything and then just go sailing. They bought some big, like 60-foot yacht or whatever. And they got their exemption approved because they were going to sail all the way up the coast of Australia to Indonesia and then do their tour. And then I found their video and it was like posted like the start of the pandemic. And then I've been following it. They're like in France and stuff now, like sailing around the world. It's fucking awesome.
Also, they got out just in time.
They got an exemption and they were able to leave, which is funny to think you need an exemption to still leave Australian waters as well, because they're just on a boat. Like you just leave, right?
That is funny.
You still need, all that paperwork, which is interesting. So, it's hectic times, man. Just it's huge learning curve as well.
That was the best quote of the whole last month of the show. 3 white dudes on a Zoom going, hectic times, brother. Hectic fucking
what
times.
else are we going to say? Like, fuck, I hate all that shit.
Look at us just breaking it down for everyone.
I think that's how Daniel Andrews should end the next press conference, is he should just go, 2,000 cases, no one's following quarantine laws, you're locked down for another 18 months. Hectic times, man. And then he ends it.
And just cuts to black.
Yeah.
Dude, this is the sign language for hectic times.
Did you see Gladys? I don't know if you saw this. Just straight up ignoring the reporters' questions on the press conference yesterday.
She is so rude to them. It's so weird.
It's incredible how one-sided, journalism is supposed to be like, we ask a question, then you answer it. Or you answer it in a roundabout way and half avoid the actual question. Yeah. She doesn't even do that. Someone was like, why don't we have she goes, no leader in the world has a plan for this. And then the reporter holds one up and he's like, here's a checkpoint plan. And then she goes, no one has one. He goes, no, it's right here. And then other reporters you see in the background start pointing to the same document.
Yeah, I think that it's so funny, the difference between Dan's ones and Gladys's. Whatever you think of the people, it's so funny. To me, it feels like when Daniel does a press conference, he's trying to talk to us, and the journalists are intermediaries where they'll ask a question that a lot of people have asked them so that we can get the answer. Whereas Gladys seems like she's like, I don't want to talk to these fucking journalists. And the journalists were trying at the start to help with questions and then maybe grill her a little bit. Now it just seems like the journos are trying to piss her off and she's trying to ignore them and leave as soon as possible. Which is why you got everyone pointing at the sign going, but
it just defeats the purpose of doing the press conference. Spend that 15 minutes trying to fucking fix it if you're just going to ignore the shit out of people.
Yeah, don't do the press conference then. Say, I'll answer it via email and tweet at them.
Yeah.
Oh, far. It's such a huge fuck around though. It's what do you, what is she actually supposed to do to fix all this stuff? People don't want to obviously abide by the rules. People aren't. Everyone's sick of especially a lot of Sydney clearly is very sick of all the lockdowns and cases. What are they?
I think it's just they fucked their opportunity to fix it at the start, and I don't think you can really come back from it. So now it's just anger because you're telling me to do something that's not working. Or why didn't you do this at the start? Why aren't you doing enough? I think, but I think the main problem is
I was there when they had 3 or 4 cases a day, and I saw what happened in Melbourne, and I was like, I just left. I was like, fuck this. No one there thought it was going to become a thing.
Yeah.
Dude, did I tell you what Frenchie said? And it's no disrespect or whatever. It's just that it just shows the change in their attitude. I was with Frenchie. It came on the news. I'm like, you guys have got COVID again. And he goes, nah, we don't really do that here.
And it's like, you will.
And I was like, and he goes, no, we pretty much shut it down. Should be all G. And now Frenchie's on his Instagram story every day, welcome to the jungle.
I saw his poll. I think he put up a poll like
Mm.
fucking like Gladys versus Dan polls or whatever. That was fun.
I wish I had a filmed him say it. Like that would have aged like fucking milk. That would have been incredible.
You could like add in the music, and you could just slowly fade to him in his bedroom with a life-sized cutout of Gladys in his fucking house. You know, who would have thought that like just a few months after he went, no, we don't do that here, Gladys would be in his house.
But it's not even like really on him for being an idiot. It's like he was right. He was kind of right. Like it hadn't been a problem all of 2020. Obviously, no one knew what Delta was going to be like and whatnot. So in his brain, he's like, oh, that's more of a Melbourne thing. And I completely understand.
You know what I think? I think the uncomfortable truth of this COVID shit is I don't think any of the states have done a particularly good job. I think some of them got lucky and some of them didn't.
Have done an incredible job.
Perth have done a good job.
Dude, people fucking love him. I was in like every Uber I did, I was, talking about it to the Uber driver. They're like, oh, he's our king. Like we worship him. We love him. And it's just so different. Like people are indifferent about Dan Andrews maybe, or some people are pro him.
I think people thought that about Dan when he got us from 700 to 0 and now everyone's angry, which I understand.
Yeah. But even like the Brisbane lady seems to be doing a pretty great job. Like, she shut this new one down again pretty quickly. But people are probably still like, fuck you. Like I know a lot of people in regional Queensland were shitty about it because they're 10 hours away and they had restrictions and stuff. Like a lot of people have a disdain towards her. When I did Townsville and stuff this week, I'm still in Airlie Beach in North Queensland. And a lot of people around here are like, it's fucking bullshit. Like, it's not even the same state and they're right. It's the equivalent of like Melbourne to Sydney away.
Yeah, it's so far away. I didn't realize how
she can't win though.
Yeah, I mean that's tough. Like it would be tough. Like,
because if you don't set the same rules for everyone, then there's confusion about the rules and stuff.
You know what's funny about this? Like before COVID started, I didn't even know we had premiers. Like I had no idea. I didn't
think anyone did. I think that I talked about this the other day. You shouldn't know the name of your premier. If you know their name, something's gone wrong.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't even know that was a job. Like we had premiers.
Okay, that's now you're reaching dumb. Not knowing their name, but not knowing that there's someone in charge of your state. You're entering dumb cunt territory.
No, straight up dumb cunt territory. Like, I thought Scott Morrison, I thought our Prime Minister, I just thought he just ran the whole lot. I didn't know there was little versions of him around Australia.
Don't you know?
How the fuck would he have the time?
Mike,
There's not many of us here. Like
you vote in the state and federal elections.
I've only voted once.
But you've done it. That's what I mean. I know you've done it.
Okay, and that there, you're not allowed to complain about anything.
That's so concerning.
My dad doesn't vote, and whenever he complains about anything, the whole house goes, well, register to vote then, or you don't get an opinion.
Oh my God, that's so funny. No, I put a little eggplant sticker on my ballot and put it in.
Yeah, okay, and that's great, but no complaints. Thank you.
No, I'm leaving the country. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, great.
I'm complaining because I have a way out.
Yeah, that must make so many people so fucking angry. Imagine living in like a communist-run country, right? And we have the right to vote. And then someone probably listening to that has just heard you go, I put a little dick emoji on it and then just slotted it in and went, fuck you, I'm out of here anyway. See you later, dogs.
Well, fuck. How very Australian of me.
That's incredible.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm young. That's my way out. I think I would have just turned 18 the first time I ever voted as well.
No one at 18 votes properly.
How old
I reckon you get one practice vote and you bin it. Like
are you
the
22 now?
Receive it.
I'm now 22. I'm getting
22.
old.
It's so weird. You're way too successful for your age. It's very cool. Yeah.
Man.
And you also you look because like your beard. I just thought you're my age, but you're not.
Yeah, it could be someone's uncle, but I'm just.
I thought that Mike was 30 from the day I met him with the beard. He said that you probably had that beard since you were 12.
I did actually start growing facial hair just before 14.
Yeah, there you go.
Pretty young.
Well, we're coming up to the end of the episode, Mike. What do you have next? What should people look out for in the coming weeks or months from you?
Well, yeah, hopefully a lot of European content.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know what do they even do in Amsterdam? And I know what they do, but what do they eat and stuff? I mean, we'd like
to find out.
Yeah,
pussy, dude. Out. They eat fucking pussy. All right.
So a lot of that. I'm actually switching to Pornhub.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Yeah, we'd like to be able to travel a lot of Europe, depending on what restrictions are where. So we'd like to do some German content. We'd like to get down to France, Paris. We'd like to get across the UK. Do you know they had an underwater train from Paris to London?
What? I didn't know that.
It cost 4.5 billion pounds, which is almost 10 billion Australian to make. They built a fucking tunnel underneath. Could you imagine the engineering project for that real quick?
That's crazy. Is there windows?
I think it's just
a tunnel.
It's
kind of like how there's a tunnel under the English Channel.
I guess you don't need windows, but come on, guys, give it a fucking crack.
But there's also a tunnel under the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
No, I guess that's a lot.
It's not a train, I guess. It's not, under the sea to a different country. That's nuts.
Like it's quite
how far, like how long does it take under the water?
I think maybe 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah. So it's like goes forever. That's crazy.
It's a pretty big, it's a pretty big tunnel. Like I didn't even know that. It's called the Eurolink or something like that. So I'd like to go on that.
See, we were at the start of this episode, we were talking about how you don't really need to be a perfectionist. I really hope that the engineers who made that tunnel are disregarding that advice. If you're an engineer, you've got to get it right. If you get it wrong, it's not good enough.
I mean, it's pretty funny for us as well, like being creatives, because you don't really need to go to uni to do anything creative, right?
No.
You're like, oh, well, I've got experience and I'm pretty good at this and I know my way around a computer, right?
Yeah. It's literally just having a brain and initiative. That's it.
Yeah. Right. But imagine the same, but if you're in the medical industry, it's like, I don't have a degree, but I've practiced on plenty of people. I've done heart surgery a couple of times.
I've watched a few YouTube tutorials. I'm pretty passionate about it. I'll intern. I'll work for free.
Yeah.
I'm just going with the good enough motto, like just pumping out the surgery.
Mate, I told you I tried to save his life, but it would have stressed me out. So
I'm just not in the right headspace right now to do it.
And then like someone's dying, you're like, I'm just burnt out. I've experienced heart surgeon burnout. We all go through it.
Look at my hands. And I got steady as fuck hands, like one little shake.
That's funny.
Me.
Yeah, far
out. One thing, you know what else is, this is not really related to anything, but you know what I always remembered like about Mike, like whenever someone goes like, man, like what was touring with Mike? Like a lot of people are very interested about you. A few people have been asking you to come on the podcast for a while, right? And I'm like, one thing I always tell people, I'm like, mate, his frequent use of the word schnoz to describe his nose was like the most memorable thing about that tour.
My schnoz.
Yeah. Do you guys remember that Mark bloke from Newcastle on the billboard?
Still follow him on Facebook. I see the guy. I see his fucking post to this
The guy who looked like he had a mustache, but he didn't have a mustache.
We called him.
Yeah.
We called him up to ask him if he had a mustache or not.
That's right. There was this guy on a billboard and we couldn't work out from a distance, and we even walked up closer to have a closer look. We couldn't work out if he had a mustache or if someone had drawn it on, or maybe it was a shadow underneath his nose.
Yeah.
So we called the guy, and he thought he was about to sell a house. And
because
we're
his
just
number,
going, do you have a mustache?
His real estate agent number was on the billboard. So
real quick about that billboard. That billboard was so big for pedestrian level.
Yeah.
Do you remember how fucking big that billboard was?
Yeah.
They're like the size of a small unit. Like it was crazy how big it was. Like I know billboards are big.
Yeah.
But fuck me, that was a massive shot of his head.
Yeah, it was like Times Square.
You would think that it would be more obvious as to whether or not he had a mustache. That's how big it was.
But we could not. All three of us were studying it, and we could not figure it out. But yeah, obviously the other half of the billboard was his phone number, number, and then his big fat head next to that. So we called him, and then I remember calling him because I pretended to be your son. Because we wanted to make sure.
It was on, I think it's on my podcast. I think it was on an episode of my podcast. Like, I'm pretty sure there's the audio is out there of this call. Because if you want to listen to another one, me, Mike, and Lewis also did a podcast years ago on that tour. You'd have to go find it, but it's in the memoir, in the Luke Kidgelauer feed.
Yeah.
Or if you search Memoirs of a White Guy, you should be able to find it. But that episode we recorded in the Newcastle Airbnb was fucking hilarious, dude.
Yes.
That whole tour. I've never laughed so hard in my life.
That tour was a lot of fun.
That's what life's about, man. Just shit talking.
Yes.
Dude, was that the Weet-Bix tour? with the cursor lyrics.
Yeah.
Where we're putting like cursor. Were you there for the Wheat Bix thing, Mike?
Wait, it sounds familiar.
I'm pretty sure we got like almost like the Jetstar staff was so confused. We were laughing so hard on the plane that all three of us were putting like Wheat Bix references into cursor lyrics. Like we'd be like, "Fuck's happening?" Because like get a bowl, put some Bix in it. Like it was just. And we thought this shit was like the funniest thing in the world.
My God. If you're trying to think about the joke, it couldn't have been that funny, but at the time it would have been.
At the time, we like could not stop laughing, like uncontrollably. Like we almost got kicked off a flight because we weren't paying attention to any of the fucking thing. And we were like,
because we only got emergency rows because of your height, Lewis.
We're on the emergency row.
Like emergency row.
Touring with me is fucking great. You will never have to pay for an upgrade. They just look at me and they go, "Man, this dude needs an emergency row."
Yeah, it's great. It was awesome.
It was so good. Like they're trying to explain, like now, just like look at this thing and make eye contact with us as we're explaining it to you. And we're all still laughing about someone's Wheat Bix jokes from like the terminal when we were checking in. Like it was fucked up.
Oh, that was good times. Yeah. Well, when you guys are touring again, I would love to come on again. That would be fun. I'll help film it all.
Yeah. See, we could like do at least like a leg or something, like go up to Queensland or something like that. We'll organize it. Maybe next year. Who knows where you'll be.
Yeah,
and remember in the Gold Coast, fucking Mike flew his drone over the fucking Chevron over the hotel from the balcony.
That we checked in.
That's right.
I remember doing that. I landed the drone. It was fucking professional fucking flying from me, if I do say so myself, because I flew it out of the balcony fucking thing. Like it was like not much room. And then the air pressure changed from the wind pressure or whatever, because the balcony didn't have any wind. And then as soon as I flew it out of the 35th story, all the wind changed. So I was like maneuvering this drone back in, and obviously
that's right. It took ages. It was like it was stuck in the rip in the ocean. It kept coming back and forward, and you're leaning across the balcony and we're all going, get in, we're gonna get kicked out.
Anyway, I landed it, I put it on the fucking dinner table, right? And you can see the dinner table from where you open up the apartment from, like the door, right? And we get this, like, it was like 7:30 in the morning, I remember that. And then we got some hectic knock on the door. I thought it was like room service or some shit. So I didn't even bother opening it. And then there was another hectic knock. And it was very like alpha knock.
Yeah.
I was like,
you're in trouble.
Yeah. I opened the door and the security was like, "We know you flew that drone." I'm like, "Nah, I don't know what I'm talking about." And literally one of them like looked over my shoulder and saw the drone there with the propeller on it. And he's like, "I know you flew that drone." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I flew the drone."
Yeah.
Like, don't do that again or you're getting fucking evicted. And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, dude, that whole tour. And also, I almost got us kicked us out because that was the same hotel that I filmed the You Don't Know Me in, where I poured the water all over me.
Oh,
and we had to film it 3 times, and there was 3 towers where it said the exact same sign.
Yeah.
Right, there's 3 towers of the hotel, and every tower had the same sign of like no water inside because
we couldn't film it if it was wet. We would have had to come back next day, so we had to find the next dry sign to get a better take.
Like the zoom in and the angle. So I was like, we go around to each thing, and then Mike would be there watching the security guard. There's one security guard walking around the whole loop, so we'd have to time his laps. When he was over the opposite side, we'd be like, "All right, film," and then I'd just get a bucket, drench it on myself. It would fuck the whole foyer. And then we'd all just run away to the next tower and then refilm it.
Wet.
And then we just filmed it at every single one.
I remember we filmed some video for you, Lewis, as well in that apartment where we smashed some fucking beer or something.
Oh, like that. that straight edge video where you smashed a Corona on the ground and there was glass everywhere. Dude, we treated those hotels like shit back in the day. It was like the definition of like 18-year-olds just shouldn't be allowed to be tour together. That's what it was.
Brisbane, we were there for one night, and I dared Lewis. I'm like, "You wouldn't put the big fucking pot plant in the fridge."
Oh, that's right. That almost got me kicked off Airbnb. That almost got me banned from the fucking website because I don't know why the fuck I did it. That place.
I dared you.
Of course. I know exactly why I did it because you said I wouldn't. I put it in the fridge and then we go to Sydney, I think it was, or Newcastle the next day. And then the woman saw the review from the place where I put the plant in the thing, the place where there was glass everywhere. And she saw those 2 terrible reviews. And then she saw that I was in her house next. And she's like, oh my God, the tornado of chaos is in my property. She came over, remember, to check the house and make sure we weren't ruining it.
Oh, wait. Oh, I think I do remember that.
In Tasmania, I wasn't there for this leg because I had something else to do, but there was this thing where you broke someone's pot, and then instead of dealing with it,
that was an accident.
You fucking rolled it down the hill.
In the bushes?
Instead of being like, I broke your clay pot, you were just like, if I put it down a cliff, no one will notice. But you filmed it and you put it on your YouTube channel.
But they found that body so quickly. That dead pot plant thing. They found it so quick.
Yeah, I don't do Airbnb much anymore, guys.
On bookings.com now, kind of man.
Yeah, I had to change for this to we have to book it on Meg's account because I stayed with Lewis in so many of my accounts. I have a fucking shitty rating because of Lewis as well. Like, do you remember that time in Adelaide where we got spaghetti on the roof?
Yeah.
Like we were cooking spaghetti and then we just started flicking it up.
Yeah, guys, if just listen to this. If you were ever considering about listing your property on Airbnb, just replay the last 5 minutes. It's not worth it. We'll ruin it.
Yeah.
There's many of us. There's more of us than you.
Yeah, that's true. There are a lot of people. Like
well, mate, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck, dude, over in Amsterdam. I can't wait to watch someone do content other than local Australian content for the last 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to make something a bit different, not just, here's traffic light photography. Like, far out. I'm excited to go over and just see what's up. And I reckon I'll get down and be like, oh, what have I done?
Yeah.
Now I'm stuck here.
It'll be great. What you're actually going to do is you're going to get there and then you're going to look at your Facebook and see all of your friends complaining about the new restrictions and you go, thank fuck.
Yeah, probably.
All right. Cool. Thank you very much, Mike. Make sure you follow North Borders on Instagram and YouTube and everywhere else he is. Really, really good stuff. Great photos and also really good tutorials and just cool fucking videos on YouTube as well. So thanks for coming on, mate. And we'll talk to you guys in a couple days.